How much free time will I have as a med student?
When I was in third year, I was going to the gym 3 times a week and doing martial arts twice a week, and that's already 10 hours a week.
Nice.
And I was working 20 hours a week as a medical receptionist.
Wow.
And then I was also running my YouTube channel. That's another 10 to 20 hours. So that's more than 40 hours a week of extracurriculars. And then having med school on top of that. You have to know how to time manage, and that's the most important thing.
Using every little bit of time that you have productively is really important. The endorphins you get from exercising makes you more productive.
If exercise is a pill, everyone would take it, right? Alright, so let's talk a bit about work-life balance as a medical student, shall we? What have you heard about the work-life balance?
I've heard positive things for the most part, that pre-med is really hard, very competitive, no life whatsoever. And then
which was true.
Which is very true.
It's like the suicide degree that people think about.
So no life in pre-med. But then I've heard that med, you can do other things. So, how much free time will I have as a med student?
As much free time as you want to.
Okay.
So the reason that I say that is there is an pretty much unlimited amount of content that you could study. So if you want to, and I know peers around me who choose to study 10 hours a day, and I know peers around me who choose to not study anything and they cram everything before the test. Either one, both of them are an extreme, and I don't recommend that. Personally, for me, I had quite a good work-life balance. So when I was in third year, I was going to the gym 3 times a week and doing martial arts twice a week, and that's already 10 hours a week.
Nice.
And I was working 20 hours a week as a medical receptionist.
Wow.
And then I was also running my YouTube channel. That's another 10 to 20 hours. So that's more than 40 hours a week of extracurriculars, and then having med school on top of that. So it's definitely doable in terms of how much free time you have. You can have as much as you want. The main thing is time management. Like, you have to know how to time manage, and that's the most important thing.
So how do you manage your time? Do you have like a calendar where you put all your stuff?
So that's a very good topic to talk about. Different people find different ways to manage time useful. So some people, I'm not sure if you've heard of, some people, they write down the top 3 or top 5 priority, the most important goals that they have to do for the day.
Yeah.
Some people do that. I used to do that. I didn't find it quite helpful, just because there's a lot of things that I do, and sometimes over putting more energy in certain things, just it doesn't really work for me. Some people, I'm not sure if you've heard of time blocking.
No. So
time blocking is basically scheduling. So you've got a calendar and you say, okay, I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock, 8 to 9 o'clock, I'm going to go to the gym, and then 9 to 11 o'clock, I'm going to study. 11 to 1 o'clock, I'm going to edit my videos. And strictly during those time periods that you've set on your schedule, non-negotiably, you have to do those things regardless of how you feel and regardless of what comes up. So that's basically a way to be extra productive, which works. But I find that when I do that, I did that in third year, when I was doing that, because I had lots on my plate, I had more than 40 hours of extracurriculars. I find that it's like I'm not living in the moment. Just because when I'm doing one thing, I'm always thinking, okay, once I finish this, I have to move on to that. I have to go to the gym for an hour, run for an hour, come back and edit videos for 2 hours. And then just so that I'm never living in the moment.
Yeah, it feels a bit robotic almost.
Yeah, it feels like you're on the hamster wheel, and you're just going and grinding, and just, it's like you become a machine, right? So I find the most useful, I'd say, technique or mindset that I use now is I don't time block or I don't prioritize tasks. I just tell myself, okay, today I'm going to do some studying, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to edit some videos. And then I focus my productivity in between tasks. So if I'm at the gym and I'm working out, right, and I'm resting in between sets, I'd be like, okay, I'm resting in between sets, I'm not doing anything. Now I could start writing down some ideas for my TikTok or my YouTube, or write some scripts. And that just makes you more productive because you're focusing on the time that you're spending in between your work. Or another example would be just when you're taking the bus or when you're waiting for the ferry. I don't use flashcards, but you can just rip out your flashcards and start doing flashcards, right?
Yeah. Like the way that I went about it in pre-med was really similar to what you ended up doing. I tried blocking for a bit with scheduling in my free time and stuff. But like you said, it's like a hamster wheel, so I didn't like it and I scrapped it pretty quickly. I would just have a to-do list of everything that I wanted to do in the day, and I would try to put those in order of what's most important to least important.
Okay.
And I would start my day with the most difficult thing. So for me in pre-med, that was starting with the biosci lecture. So because I felt that I was biologically just most productive in the morning. Like we're most productive at 5 a.m. to a certain point. So I did
different people. I'm more productive later in the day. So,
there you go. But I guess for me at 5 a.m. I was just the most productive. So did the hardest thing then, and then like you said on the bus ride here, when I drove in and then took the bus to Grafton or wherever, I'd be doing flashcards on the bus. So using every little bit of time. If I was waiting for someone to pick me up, I would be doing my flashcards. So I guess just in pre-med especially, using every little bit of time that you have productively is really important.
Yeah, I think doing that, optimizing the time that you're spending in between your work, that's actually, in terms of mindset, that's less stressful in terms of the mindset. That's how I think. Some people might disagree. Some people might think that in between tasks, the best thing to do is just rest and chill and let my brain rest. But for me, the mindset of having time blocking, I'm going to do this within an hour, and the next hour I'm going to do this, and then after that I'm going to do task B, and then after that I'm going to do task C. For me, that's more stressful because I don't ever live in the moment, whereas if I'm just focusing on squeezing in little things when I can, that's more flexible, so it's less stressful. That's what I think.
I think try different things that works for you. Yeah. And it's not going to be the same as us. Might not be, or it could be. Yeah, just try it out.
Yeah. Back to our main point about medical school and work-life balance. If you have good time management, you have good work-life balance. Yeah.
You mentioned you worked as a receptionist, was it?
Yeah.
I tutor in my spare time, and that's sort of the way that I earn a bit of money. What would you say in terms of working in medical school? Should I limit my hours to a certain amount, or how many did you limit your hours to?
I'd say for me, 20 hours was actually stretching it. I needed a bit of money at the time for various different activities, so I worked 20 hours a week. It's quite a lot. I think anything between 10 to 15 hours is probably, around 10 hours would be ideal. So if you think about it, 1 day a week on the weekend, 10 hours, or 2 days a week, half a day, that will be a good balance. You don't want to work too much. Depends on the job that you're working. If you're tutoring or interacting with people, I'm not too sure. For me, medical receptionist, 20 hours a week, it's a bit too much just because the kind of work that I'm doing, it doesn't give me growth. It's the same job. So I tend to find that after a few months of doing that, it's just quite a toll on my mental health.
So it's very manageable to work a job, though.
In a short answer, it's very manageable to work a job. Like I said, it really depends on the time management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that most people do work a job?
Definitely, most people do work a job. And
cool.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So would you say that you've lived a balanced life in medical school so far?
Yeah, I'd say it's even overly balanced.
Wow, that's really good to hear.
Some people have been some of my close friends, they tell me Harry, you're doing so many things. You're such a balanced person. I'm like, wow, thank you. And they're like, no. I think it's too balanced. I think you're too balanced. I think
too much, man.
I think you're doing too much. You're writing scripts at the gym. That's too balanced. Yeah, I think it's a good productive way to live my life. Whatever works for you works for you. Whatever makes you happy works for you.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what I think.
How many hours do you sleep? 6, 5?
Yeah, I usually see, I'm naturally a person who sleeps a lot. If I sleep and I wake up naturally, it takes 9 hours for me to do that. 8 to 9 hours, but more closer to 9 hours. But if I sleep for 9 hours versus I sleep for 6 to 7 hours, if you think about it, 2.5 hours per day, close to 20 hours a week of extra work that I could have spent on an extra hobby, running my YouTube channel or something like that. Yeah. That's 15 to 20 hours a week, and if I just slept 9 hours a day, that's quite a lot of time wasted.
Yeah, I feel like if you love sleep, you gotta, I don't know, it's cool to love sleep and all, but 9 hours, it's a bit much. I found the sweet spot for me was 7.5.
7.5.
Where it was I was at my max energy when I woke up, and I was never tired throughout the day. And then it was enough to the point where I wasn't wasting time.
Yeah.
But it's not some days I went to 7 hours, but I never had a night in biomed where I slept consciously slept less than 6 hours.
In biomed, I've only slept 5 hours.
Oh my god.
Like, I slept 5 hours every single day for like the whole year.
I heard of people who slept like 2 to 3 hours. Like shout out,
there's people.
shout out to Justin Sung again. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
apparently, bro started hallucinating in biomed.
everyone knows about that story.
That's the classic.
I did
bro.
around 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah,
So that's fine. That's like, anything less, you're just compromising your efficiency and productivity.
Yeah, if you can prioritize something though, like I would say prioritize sleep to the point where you have enough sleep that you can actually function properly. Because if you're sleep deprived, man, that's gonna be a long year.
Do you exercise?
Yeah, I go to the gym a couple times a week,
Yeah.
like usually 3 times. Had a few injuries at the moment, so trying to recover. But yeah, some kind of exercise I think is needed in my life, definitely.
Do you think that helps in terms of work-life balance and everything?
Yeah, I feel like even just biologically, like the endorphins you get from exercising makes you more productive. So not only biologically, but also just physically, I feel better.
Yeah.
If I go like a week without exercising, like I did in pre-med a lot, I just felt like my life was very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And like something was missing, but I didn't quite know what. And that thing was definitely exercise for me.
If exercise is a pill, everyone would take it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it takes time and it takes energy.
Yeah. And like you go to the gym, right?
I just not much now. I just try to maintain.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think something is important though. Some exercises needed. I feel like if you can do it, you should be though. Like in everyone's life, some form of exercise is good.
I've never had anyone or heard anyone who felt worse after they exercise.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
I've never exercised and then feel worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just only a matter of like, if you don't have enough time in the day, sometimes you put exercise on the back burner. But I feel like just any level, like 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes every second day, something, even when your life is really stressful, is necessary.
Yeah. That's a good train of thought.
Yeah.
Train of thought bringing us to the end of the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you on as a first guest.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So if there's any of you watching, I'm sure there's lots of you watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, please comment below and let me know. And yeah, if there's any recommendations for any topics or content that you want us to talk about, comment below. And make sure to like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. And otherwise, stay fit, stay strong, stay positive, and I'll see you next time. Cool.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah, let's go, bro.
I love that, man.
Oh, it's not recording now, it is.
Imagine.